Call to order the Common Council meeting for September 15th, 2014. Bobby, would you like to do invocation, please?
Gracious Father, we thank you as we get ready to prepare for this meeting. We thank you, God, for this day. We thank you, God, for continuing to bless us and keep us. We ask you to be with each one of our council persons as we get ready to handle the business of our community. Be with them, watch over them, be with their families, continue to give them what they need to do their jobs. God, we also ask you to please bless our mayor, bless all of our city officials, bless all of our staff that works for this city. God, I want to ask a special prayer also for the persons who volunteer to help our city, to make sure our city stays clean, that they do all the things to help us to have a great community, to make people want to visit Jeffersonville and be a part of Jeffersonville. So I ask you to continue to be with them. Also, God, I ask you to bless the persons present at this meeting, also be with these Cub Scouts and their leaders. I want to bless their scout leaders, that they don't think it robbery, they take the time to work with these kids, to shape them, inform them, help them to be better citizens. We ask you to be with each one of them, be with their parents, and watch over them. We ask it all in the name of Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen. We have a special group here tonight. What's that? And we would like Pac 9, led by Scott Gardner from First Christian Church, to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. It'll be a treat for everyone. Come on up, guys. Don't act so excited. It won't be that bad. And we got the flag right behind us.
Right here, guys. Guys, this way.
There you go. When you're ready.
Scout salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Y'all want to get your picture taken?
Oh. I don't know.
Y'all want to
Should we stand?
Yeah, stand up. Maybe she'll have a wide angle lens on that.
Matt's all by himself. Oh, whoops.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, wait.
Thank you.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Smith.
Present.
Councilperson Zastavny.
Present.
Councilperson Payne.
Here.
Councilperson Sellers. Here. Council Vice President Gill. Here. Council President Julius.
Here.
Councilperson Owen.
Here.
Councilperson Samuel.
Right next to you.
Let the record reflect that 8 council persons are present. Councilperson Glover is absent.
All right. Minutes to be approved.
I make a motion to approve the September 2nd, 2014 Common Council minutes.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I abstain because I wasn't here last meeting.
We've got claims to be, or approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Claims.
Lisa and I went through the claims and had some questions on some. First one was the page 1. Let me get the ones. Well, page 1, and it's the volleyball ad, which is probably not a big deal. We asked, did you check into that? For us?
Oh, I checked into the whole sponsorship. That was the one you'd asked
All
me.
line of City of Jefferson.
Did it? Oh, I knew there was one that did. It was, which one did we ask?
Golf outing in the City of Jefferson. All those claims are submitted without my
Oh, that's fine, but they're supposed to have a copy of the ad with them. So that's in the ordinance.
We'll get you a copy.
So just make sure from now on that those are in so we can see what it looks like. Go ahead, Amy, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
The ag volleyball is just going to be revitalized.
I think I saw one of them was, but one of them was
Same
not.
ag run. Come on, ag will be running.
Okay.
Different size.
Okay.
I did have an email that went out Friday about a hand carry claim, and then I have a couple other changes as well. On page 14, there's a claim that was actually for the drainage department that we need to remove. That was for $858.36.
Page where? Oh.
Page 14.
First, if I can cut the Anna, is that more than
Yes.
858?
Yes. And then on page 8, for 3791, there's a claim we need to remove. That was going to be charged to redevelopment.
Page what?
I don't know, what page was that?
It's on page 8. It's to Duke Energy.
Oh, 3791.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then I have a hand carry claim that's to Republic Bank for a lease on one of the garbage packers, and it's for $29,274.82.
Yeah.
That'll be paid out of the edit fund. So that brings our total to $1,979,854.48.
I have a question.
Okay.
Page 3. There, it looks like there's two of the same claims to Clark County REMC for 92412 at the top section, the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one down, and like the 8th one down.
Okay, I see.
They just seem too odd
Oh,
to
it
be.
says it's 3,
Look like
4,
it could be a
4.
duplicate or maybe a monthly payment that's
Okay, I'll
scheduled,
check on that
but
one.
just
Les, did you come up with anything on the Palmer suit? You remember, no, she sent it to me. We said that we thought we had paid it a few months, back in January or February.
We have a $25,000 deductible under that policy. We settled it for the amount not to exceed the deductible, so we paid, I think, seven something
8452.
Palmer for less damages. But then also as part of our deductible, we have to pay
Yeah, but,
the legal expenses for the firm.
no, I remember that.
Which was like $8,000.
But I had asked you, I thought in February, we paid a claim.
We did, that was for the amount that was going to Palmer. There's two parts of it.
Right.
One is when we paid Palmer, and the other part was paying Heitlinger and Gray, which was the law firm of the insurance company.
So the 86 was the legal?
So part of our deductible is $25,000 and also includes the legal expenses.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay.
And on page 8, I was going to mention that, but sewer utility, Middle Road, $4,498.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That probably needs to go to redevelopment.
Page 8.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different address.
Sewer utility,
is that the
You'll just have
Is
to
that
check the
the
claim and see. If it's
aquatic
not for
center?
Allison Brook, then it needs to be
I
paid.
figured that's
what other
what
park
it
we
is.
got there? Is it the aquatic center?
Pool, yeah.
Mm-mm. Oh, well,
It could be.
could be.
Bet it is. I just check on it.
Amy, I had just a technical question.
Okay.
I had printed a general ledger activity report for the Civil City. And it looks like from May 20th to June 10th, we were in the red. Is that possible?
Yes.
It is
Before
possible?
we get the settlement from the county, yes.
Yeah. And we don't move I mean, we don't move money over to cover that.
And that was a
It happens
general
every
fund?
year. It happens every year.
But that was a general fund? Because I thought we were millions of dollars in the
Yeah.
black.
It did go in the red for a few weeks there, yes.
Looks like, I don't know, looks like 3 weeks, I guess.
So is our surplus gone then, that we supposedly had?
Well, we get our payments in June and December, so our ending cash looks to be about what it was at the end of last year.
You know what I'm saying? They said that we were, what?
Well,
Yeah.
the surplus would be in those two payments. It'd already be in the
Oh.
account,
Not in the
right?
general
Oh,
fund.
so we can't transfer.
Amy,
it
one
over
more
then.
question.
Gotcha.
Page 12, the very bottom, under Q cap, stray light optical. Curious what that is.
I know we should have moved it.
What page, Nathan?
I'm sorry, 12?
Oh, that was for some streetlights on Court Avenue.
Streetlights. Thank you.
How much was it in the negative?
2107 Middle Road is the aquatic center.
Thank you.
Technology.
Okay, and I have one more, and this is on page 5, and it's under safety, and it's an Indiana Wellness Conference. Several people are going to this, but they're being paid out of the departments that they work for, and this one is for Mr. Lovin. And we pulled one. Did you guys pull one? I wasn't here last week. Last week?
We pulled it out.
Because it should be paid from the sewer department, because that's the department that he works for. And not, it should not be coming from human resources. Or safety, which is human resources.
Is that for 23920? Is that the one you're talking
Mhm.
about?
So then we'll need a new total.
So that's really the only one we've pulled in, the rest of them are going to be checked on?
Yeah, because Mr. Merkley said the one that,
Okay, and then the one I had was, had found out it was.
well, and I have the Allison Brook one, but I'd asked her Friday to check on that for us, so she already pulled it.
Oh, okay.
Ready for a new total?
Mm-hmm.
1,979,615.28.
Motion to approve with changes.
Second.
Any other discussion? I'll be abstaining. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thanks, Amy. Report of the clerk.
I have none at this time.
All right. Unfinished business. Amy Deering, 2014 OR 46.
We'll need to have a public hearing on this item tonight. No changes since the last meeting.
Can I have, since I wasn't here, I just
Uh-huh.
have a question. What's the gaming for that's being moved to professional services and from special projects? The 7,000 and 5,000?
That was, the 7,000 was for the River Stage mailer that went out with all the events, and the 5,000 was an additional cost for sod at Worley Park.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. We'll open this up to a public hearing. Is anybody here to speak for or against this? 2014 OR 46. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Motion to approve on the final reading.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thanks. Are we tabling 47? Since Scott's not here, are you handling that? An ordinance authorizing fee for
Yeah,
various city parks.
Motion
I
to
want to
table.
make sure that we've got everything in this.
Okay, so you want to table it?
Yeah.
Motion table. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, new business. Mr. Samuel,
Okay.
Dr. Fry and the Homeless Task Force.
I had reached out to Beth Keeney and asked her about another update from from our task force. And so she graciously got Dr. Fry to come and speak. And so I'll turn it over to Dr. Fry and see where we are.
Okay, so I was just going to give an update from last time. Last time I gave you an overview of the project, so I'm just going to go through. I'm going to include some of what I told you last time, just so you're getting a full sense of the breadth of folks who've been involved in the process. So again, we're doing individual interviews, focus groups, as well as this planning committee that's been meeting that represents a variety of organizations and interests in the community. So far we have had individual conversations with Jesus Cares at Exit Zero, Haven House Shelter, Haven House Nursing Program, Jeffersonville Police Department, New Albany Housing Authority, Clark Memorial Hospital, Clark Memorial Physicians Group, Clark Memorial Social Workers, Louisville Coalition for the Homeless, Salvation Army, Center for Women and Families, Family Health Center, St. Elizabeth's, Volunteers of America, Jeffersonville Housing Authority, I had St. Elizabeth's twice. Center for a different individual from Center for Women and Families. And we have been regularly attending the Southern Indiana Housing Initiative meetings. We have had 3 planning committee meetings. The first was mostly introductions, and we had that before the last time I spoke with you. Then we met to discuss health, mental health, and substance abuse concerns among low-income and homeless individuals. And did some planning around that. And then at our most recent meeting, we talked about housing and shelter concerns. We've had very productive meetings, had a very strong turnout at our most recent meeting, and so we're feeling pretty good about that. Again, those represented on the committee are downtown residents, Salvation Army, private real estate developer, formerly homeless individuals, currently homeless individuals, the nurse from Haven House, the New Albany Housing Authority's Family Self-Sufficiency Program, Clark County Youth Shelter, libraries in both Jeffersonville and New Albany, housing advocates, Goodwill of Southern Indiana, other residents, LifeSpring, Gilt Edge, Baptist Church, King's Kitchen, Hope Southern Indiana, Jeffersonville Housing Authority, Center for Lay Ministries, St. Elizabeth's, and First Christian Church of Jeffersonville. We've also distributed an organizational survey to 60 organizations, and we've had about a 50% response rate. We're still following up to try to boost that a little bit, and we're working on setting up our analysis of those data. In terms of focus groups, we had a focus group of safety net providers, which we had just had right when I met with you last time. In addition to that, we had a group of homeless individuals that we met with in New Albany. We've had a lot more trouble getting our focus groups together in Jeffersonville. We put up flyers and we're not getting people to show up, so we've made an arrangement with King's Kitchen to go in and just sit down at lunch, but we're waiting now because it got late enough and we were having trouble. We're waiting till we have more of a draft plan so we can get feedback from those groups on the plan that we have. So we have other things to talk about with them at those groups. Focus group for those providing for the immediate needs of the homeless. Variety of organizations were represented at that meeting. Focus group of community interests, and this included downtown residents, businesses, the libraries, and a few other organizations. We had a little bit trouble getting downtown residents out for that meeting here in Jeff, so what we've talked about doing is meeting with the Downtown Merchants Association as well as the neighborhood. There's a meeting of all of the neighborhood associations together, and so we're approaching them instead to make sure we have those voices represented in our conversation. Things that we still have to do, we still need to meet with folks at Wayside Mission in Louisville for some ideas from them. We have an additional planning committee meeting that will focus on economic security, including workforce development, education, and employment. That will be in October. And then following that meeting, our remaining meetings will be to review our draft of the strategic plan, sort of fine-tune it, and do a full SWOT analysis of where our community stands in terms of being ready to execute the ideas that we have come up with. We'll be launching the public education campaign in just a few weeks, probably around mid-October. You'll start to see information coming out in the paper. We're going to be working with the News and Tribune to get coverage of issues related to issues that affect people's housing stability and function as barriers to moving out of homelessness and back into housing. Those will lead up to the community forums, which will be the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving in November, and will be held both. We're going to do 2 sets. So we're going to do a set in New Albany and a set in Jeffersonville, both held at the public libraries. So that's where we stand at this point. Do you all have any questions?
Dr. Fry, you mentioned King's Table. What and where is that?
King's Table is at Gilt Edge Baptist Church, which is right across the parking lot from Haven House Shelter.
Oh.
They serve lunch several days a week. I think it's 3 days a week. And they have a really energetic young pastor who's fairly new to the congregation. He has some very interesting ideas, but they're working, really good ideas, and they're working with us to try to do more to be able to sit and talk with people over lunch over there.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Then you had mentioned you're having problems getting participation in meetings, both from the homeless and the neighborhoods. Is there a reason?
Well, you know, I talked to a couple of downtown business owners who said to me, you know, it's just another meeting. Like, it's just the problem of getting out to another meeting. If you come to our downtown merchants meeting, we'll be happy to talk to you. But it was somebody who had committed to come. I followed up with her and said, you know, other folks didn't show up either. Can you help me understand? You know, and so she suggested that I come to their meeting, and that it would be a good idea to have some of the plan drafted so we would have particular discussion points to talk about, and then they'd have an opportunity to respond in that forum.
Because I keep in touch with the neighborhood association, so if there's any way I can
Great.
help, if I can make a phone call and ask, or, you know, and request that, you know, how important this is, I'll be glad to do that.
Great. I may well call on you. Thank you.
Have you contacted the presidents of each separate neighborhood?
I have contacted somebody from,
There's Rose Hill, there's Franklin Commons.
I had contacted, on my email list, I had contacted the person who I believe is in charge of the Downtown Merchants Association, but I need to do more follow-up with that.
Yeah, because they really don't have anything to do with the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right. The neighborhood associations I had not contacted. I had
Yeah, because
contacted people from the neighborhood associations, but not the group that convenes all of them together.
Right, well, if you contact like the president of each neighborhood association, you can probably they'll probably let you come and speak to their group when they meet.
So I was hoping to try to get them when they were together.
Right, well, if you get the JNLA, the only thing is that one big, there's only like a couple of
There's
people
just a
that are
representative?
There's
Okay.
representative, it's not the entire.
So Rose Hill is who I had spoken with already, and they were one that I thought was going to show, and then there were people who said they were going to show and they didn't. So I would definitely try to get to Rose Hill. Do you all have ideas about priority in terms of which ones to make sure we don't miss
I would
of the
say
neighborhood
Fort
associations?
Fulton
Rose Hill.
Those three.
And Franklin Commons.
Okay,
And if
Rose
you-
Hill was the one I had targeted most aggressively. I'll go for Franklin
And
Commons.
Claysburg.
Commons.
Yeah, and
Claysburg, of
I would
course,
get in
yeah.
Claysburg.
And on our city website, cityofjeff.net, if you go to the neighborhood page, it lists all their contacts on there.
Dr. Fry, and
Yes.
I hate to ask this question. I really do. Have we been in touch with Haven House?
Yes.
And I didn't hear you mention them, is why I said that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And-
So I had individual interviews with Barbara Anderson, and then she also participated in the focus group of those who meet the immediate needs of the
Good,
homeless.
good.
And I've also sent materials to her for feedback.
Good, great, okay.
I have a question about the plan. What all will the plan encompass? For example, a question, I've received some calls recently with from an individual and then also a business owner that's indicating that they're up 10th Street, more panhandlers are coming into their business.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Kroger parking lot, they've been approached by folks needing money. And I said, well, that doesn't mean they're homeless. You know, just maybe
No, it
they-
doesn't mean they're homeless.
I mean,
Yeah, and
money, and
it-
so-
it's sort of interesting. It does not mean they're homeless.
Right.
And I think my understanding is that that's covered under Indiana statute, so I think there's room for, that's really not something that we would necessarily deal with, except that when you're providing sufficient services and when we have a better structure in place for managing the needs of the homeless, it is likely to reduce that problem, but I also think that the city has actually more room to address it than others
I was
do.
going to say, do you or would your group recommend direction on that, or if we would come up with, I haven't even checked into ordinances to see, you know, what's in place about some of that, if anything, or if we can't, if we want to do that. But if so, is that something you'd be welcome us running past you or recommending, or not at all?
Again, I think I would say that So there's a literature on those laws that I can certainly speak to, but I think it's actually already covered by Indiana law. So because it's already on the books, I don't think there would necessarily be a debate over an ordinance. So that's why I'm not sure Beth maybe will speak better to the task force position.
And I'm going to look back to Major Lynch because I'm fairly certain that panhandling is a criminal offense, and he's nodding, so I'm taking that as a yes. Panhandling is a criminal offense, and I think that there is probably room for maybe a little bit of information or education that we could provide to the police so that they could handle that in a compassionate manner. Not that you all aren't always compassionate, we absolutely think you are, but just to provide them resources that they can provide to individuals who they might come across who are panhandling. I think that that's an opportunity, probably something that we could do fairly quickly. I think I had shared with you that one of the things that we did with the point in time survey was we had little business card size things printed, and we handed them out to everyone who participated in it in the point in time, and it had like, here are the local shelters, here's where you can get food, and it's just a pocket guide to resources. There's a cost associated with that. It's not a lot, but I think that that's something that we could provide very quickly, that we could develop very quickly if you all wanted to have it printed, and then we could provide that to the police department, and they could use that in their interactions with people who are homeless. So I think that that's an opportunity to do something very quickly, but at the end of the day, panhandling is a criminal offense, so I don't know that we need necessarily an ordinance.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Nathan, you sent an email out, and you had the support for those cards, and I talked to Chief Grimm, and he said absolutely get the cards to him, and he'll make sure the officers get those.
Okay, so I can send you, I'll send something to you within the next few days with those updated resources.
And just one other question. I think you told us last time, but can you remind me of the timeline? When would you anticipate the plan?
Well, I think I'm on about a February 28th, March 1st deadline, so that's the plan. So we're trying to stick to that, and so far we're on track for that, to meet that deadline.
Dr. Fry?
Yes.
Would you mind at some point sending me the list of the groups that you talked with? You had Exit Zero.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you wouldn't mind, because we couldn't get them all written down.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you all very much.
And I'll be in touch if I need you. Okay, thank you.
And I'm actually going to ask Dr. Fry to stay for just a minute for me. I'm up next. Because this kind of dovetails right into what the Homeless Task Force has been working on. A few years ago, LifeSpring started looking at where we're going directionally. We just reached our 50th birthday, and we sort of knew that we were moving towards primary care services for our clients because we see that they're dying a lot faster than they should, mostly due to risk factors that we think can be modified. A lot of them have chronic diseases and health conditions that can be managed a little bit better than what they're being managed currently. So we started talking about how we were going to do that, looking at a lot of different models. And then last year we kind of started talking about doing this federally qualified health center. And because of the work with the Homeless Task Force and some of the different things that the agency's been involved in, we're actually going to make application in a few weeks to become a federally qualified health center. A federally qualified health center is a clinic that can provide cradle-to-grave primary care services. So we can see babies, we can deliver babies. We're not going to deliver babies, we're going to sub that out. We can, everything from early well child checkups to geriatric primary care services. Through our work with the Homeless Task Force and being able to identify some of the needs of the homeless and the housing challenged in our community, we've decided to focus on the homeless as the primary population that we want to serve, in addition to some of the other special populations like the seriously mentally ill and those who have developmental disabilities. So I'm on the agenda tonight asking for a letter of support from you all for that. Your letter of support, and I'm happy to send language if you'd prefer that, but it will just indicate that you understand that we will provide services on a sliding fee scale, that we will provide services regardless of ability to pay, and that's going to be in Jeffersonville. We're going to do that on Sharon Drive behind the Turning Point Center. We're going to retrofit one of our buildings and do that there. So we've worked really hard on this project. We think it's going to add a lot to the community, and we would ask for your support And Dr. Fry, if you want to just kind of touch on maybe some of the health needs.
Yeah, so in the work that we've done so far, we have a variety of providers in our community who are doing a great job, but our healthcare penetration is still relatively low. Our homeless population predominantly seeks care across the river at Phoenix Health Center, which is part of their, which is a federally qualified health center on the other side of the river that has the designated homeless population, the homeless population designation, which means they get funding. They are absolutely supposed to be serving the homeless population, which is really helpful because then, you know, they're not trying to squeeze it in on what they're able to bring in with other clients. So our folks right now are having to cross the river for that care, which puts a tremendous strain. I know that the nurse who operates out of Haven House, she'll send people to local providers for some things, but for a lot of things she needs to send people across the river, so then she has to get them bus fare and make sure they get over there and get back, and it becomes really quite onerous for people who are managing chronic illness. Our low-income population also is able to access health care on this side of the river from providers, but we're not penetrating that population at a very high rate, so there's plenty of room for additional providers in our community.
Are you talking about the Clark County Health Clinic?
The Family Health Center over by the hospital, yes. And they, you know, they're providing for the population earning below 200% of the poverty level. They are a federally qualified health center.
And they're a
But
great clinic.
they're a
but
great clinic. They
their
just can't
capacity.
meet all of the need. We have a really large low-income population, and you know, there's just a lot of need.
So being out where where this facility is on 10th Street, how are they going to get there, I guess is my question.
Well,
Do you all provide any?
So if we're talking about that, yes, we will actually be providing transportation, and part of our application indicates that we will be doing some degree of mobile healthcare outreach to the homeless, and we don't know exactly what that will look like. We think just in preliminary discussions, we think we'll send a nurse to homeless areas, to places where homeless people congregate, and try to encourage people to come in. We'll have transportation available for them. It's also on a bus line, so even if they're not literally street homeless today, maybe they're homeless by the FQHC definition, which is not the same as the homeless as we think of definition. You know, they can take the TARP because it's on a bus line. But we're doing outreach. We're going to take people out to where the homeless are congregated, and we're going to try to get them to come into the clinic. And if they can't or won't, and they have a pressing healthcare need, we're going to send a doc or a mid-level or a nurse practitioner out there. So we anticipate meeting the need where it is. We think this is where our agency is headed, not necessarily just to serving the homeless, but to meeting the overall comprehensive healthcare needs of our community.
Can I say one thing real quick? Sure. One thing that's part of their application that I think is really important is care for the seriously mentally ill. One of the things that our current FQHC does not do is administer a variety of the medications that seriously mentally ill people need. And so because they're also a mental health care provider and they're including that as part of their grant application, they're really going to be targeting meeting the needs of the seriously mentally ill, and I think that's an important component to the application.
And we really see the special populations as being more of our market niche, as opposed to the Family Health Center, which sort of targets everyone, especially the low income. So we really see the need for these special populations that have a lot of anxiety around seeking health care services, a lot of barriers to getting there, whether it's transportation, ability to pay, cognitive understanding. We really think the special populations is where we'll serve the most.
So on your sliding scale, there will be some that pay zero.
The homeless will pay zero, period. As long as they have 200%, at least as long as they're at or below 200% of the federal poverty level, they will pay nothing for medications or for copays.
How many do you all expect? I mean, how many can you all treat? Got any idea?
We think after 2 years we'll be up to probably 3,000 patients, outpatient, being served by the health clinic. When you make your application, you target specific census tracts, and there is a program called UDS. I don't know what it stands for, but the UDS mapper will tell you what population lives in those census tracts and what percentage of that population is low income and what percentage of that population has their health care needs met by an existing FQHC. our current penetration rate for the two census tracts we're targeting shows that the FQHC is serving less than 10% of those who need health care on a sliding scale. We still have about 25,000 people just in those two census tracts who meet the income criteria and who are medically underserved. So we really see that there is a lot of room for growth, both for them and for us.
Is LifeSpring, are you guys in New Albany as well?
We serve 6 southern Indiana counties. Yeah, so Clark.
Do you have offices
Yes.
or anything in New Albany?
Yeah, we have an outpatient office on Grant Line Road. We have an administrative office on Market Street. And then we've got a couple of group homes in New Albany. So we serve about 8,000.
Do we need a motion to give her a letter of support?
Yeah.
Forward something to
Just Scott.
Scott, and then have him bring it.
Right.
Can you do that?
What's that?
Let's do that. If you have like language you can forward to Mr. Lewis,
Okay.
and then he can bring that for us to review and approve.
Okay. Sure.
You gonna make a motion?
Is that what you're wanting to do? You
Is that
want to
your
do the
motion?
motion after
Or
it's
do you want to do
done?
the motion after
I
we
don't think
read
we
the
need a
letter?
motion now.
No.
He wants to approve the letter when it's done.
After it's done.
Right.
No.
The last thing I want to just say is that a lot of the credit for some of what's happening in the community around homeless issues definitely goes to you all. I really just want to say thank you to the mayor and to Councilman Samuel for putting these groups together to begin with, and to the city council for funding this, because we're really starting to see some of these efforts produce results. I mean, what we're doing, this application, is a direct result of the funding of this plan. So I want you to know that it's already making a difference here.
Good. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
All right, we got Matt Owen and Dan Williamson from Pro Media.
Hello, everybody. How are you tonight?
Good.
Dan came to the Board of Public Works meeting a few weeks ago and kind of laid out where we are, what they've been doing, what our statistics have been online, and some of the services that Pro Media has been engaged with for the city on the city's behalf. And I thought, I happened to be there and saw his presentation. I thought it would be good to come to a council meeting and go over some of the numbers that he went over that day, because it's impressive.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm glad to see you guys, and certainly appreciate all the work you guys do here on behalf of the city. We did think it prudent to give a report on the activity that we've been undertaking on behalf of the city of Jeffersonville over the last 8 months. And so I was able to do some looking back and a little bit of looking at where we are, and I thought it'd be kind of interesting to look and see how things are progressing. I know you may have a difficult time reading these, but that's huge. So I'm going to start with Facebook. As you guys know, we're posting to Facebook several times a week, and multiple posts are going out, and we're tracking those and working to improve and increase the amount of communication to constituents here in Jeffersonville. When we started with the city a couple years ago, it was the Facebook was less than 2,000 people were liking Facebook, as those of you who use it know what that means. And then in 2013, that increased to 4,900. And then through the first 8 months of the year. And then again, this year, comparing 2014 to 2013, we went from having 440 new likes in those first 8 months of the year in 2013, with 4,931 total, to a number of 1,000 new likes with 6,465. So that's a tremendous amount of people, and most of whom are constituents here within the city of Jeffersonville. And so continuing with Facebook, one of the things I always like to look at, and it's really important, is engagement. Engagement means the number of people who are engaged with your page. Either they're clicking, liking, or they're sharing information that they're seeing on your Facebook page. And so for my commercial clients, that's a really important thing. That means they're touching your brand. But for you guys, more importantly, it means that they are connected. They're engaged, and they're following what's going on within the city's Facebook page, and they're interested. And so that number, again, for the first 8 months of 2013 was about 219,000 people engaged, and then we had engagement of 382,000 almost 383,000 individual touches to your Facebook page. That's a lot. That's a tremendous amount of activity. And the reason you get to a number like that, as you guys know, every one of us has friends, and then we have friends of friends. And so those concentric circles breaking out can create these numbers very quickly. So if I like something and a friend of mine sees it and they like something that I liked, and then it spreads very rapidly. So even people who maybe are not friends with you on Facebook, still maybe within the community, are seeing information and posts that are going out.
So we're still talking about likes here?
This is actually engaged users. This means people that are actually connecting with your page through either a click, a touch of some kind. They're saying, hey, I liked that, or I shared that. And you know the different things you can do as a Facebook user. You can like something, you can make a comment about something. This is the amount of engaged users that have come to the page in the first 8 months. Okay? And again, it's not just your friends, obviously, because that number is much smaller. And then this goes back, speaks to what I was just talking about. The reach of your Facebook page is very important to note also, in that this is friends of friends of friends. These are people who you're getting impressions with this audience. Your message is going out, and maybe obviously they're not all engaged with you, but they're at least seeing impressions of the material that's being published. It's a very high number. And it's not so much the number itself, but the difference in scale that between 2013 and 2014, I think is very fascinating. To more than double in the amount of activity within your Facebook page is significant. That means people are they're finding a place, they're really interested, and they're staying interested in the publications that are going out on Facebook. And again, this is just the first 8 months, and September already looks very good also as we ramp toward Jeffersonville's Steamboat Days activity. You guys were right on the money. Connie, I mentioned this to you earlier. You wanted to increase website activity and updating and making sure that information on the website was being maintained on not just the front page, but throughout the entire site. And we undertook to make that occur, and that's really paid off, as you can see in this graph. We're looking at website stats here between 2012 and 2013, and then 2013 and 2014, the same period. The page views on the website in the first calendar was 147,000 page views. And that jumped up more than doubled to 344,000 this year, okay, between this period and a year ago. That's a significant increase. And you see the same thing occurring in users. The number of users to your website went from 51,000 to 102,000 users of your website. That's just a tremendous increase. And what it meant was we went to every department within the city and we said we want to touch and keep your site up to date. This is the edict we have from the council. They asked us to go deeper and deeper into the site and try to make sure that this site is everything it could be for the city. And for the most part, we've had very good support with our department heads and their staff. They've allowed us to make up, and they're relying upon us to do those kind of updates for them. Many of them do themselves, but some of the work we are also able to help them with. And then sessions is another thing. Sessions is basically people engaged in time on your website, and 147,000 versus 71. So just tremendous stats. And again, this graph shows that in a little bit more clear. 164% increase for sessions. Users were 150% increase, and then of course your page views were 211%. Really significant numbers as you look at the orange line comparing last year to this year on the blue line above it. And then I threw this in here too, a couple stats about YouTube. Through the first 8 months, we published 8 videos that have gone out onto the YouTube channel that belongs to the city of Jeffersonville, and different topics, and I'm sure you all have seen some of those. Those videos in 2013, again, we're looking at January through August. If you compare in like numbers, January through August of 13, we had 7,200 minutes watched by 4,100 views, and we increased to 6,100 views and 15,000 minutes watched. So it was interesting to me is that the views increased slightly, the minutes increased even more so in the amount of people spending time on watching the videos in their entirety. And then if you look at YouTube as a lifetime stat, the views have been 36,129 over the last roughly 2 years, not quite 2 years, with 67,854 minutes being viewed of content that relates to the city of Jeffersonville. And there's a lot of this material that's being watched outside the city. There are people outside the city who are, looking at coming to the community. Maybe the company that they're working for is moving here. That's happening a lot. And those people are trying to get a feel for what this community is. Hey, do I want to live in Jeffersonville? Do I want to live in Sellersburg, Charlestown? Where do I want to live? And so they're coming and they're learning about your all's community and trying to figure out, is this the right place for my family as we move to the community?
Now, is this, I'm sorry, is that just for this year?
That's lifetime.
And
These
that
are
goes
lifetime
back
stats.
how many?
I'm sorry?
How many years?
I think we began the
2012?
YouTube channel just 2 years ago, I believe, and maybe in November 2 years ago. So it's short of 2 years,
Okay.
this number is, from a lifetime stats. But this was comparing 13 and 14, that graph. And then finally, just to say, hey, we grew the number of likes by over 1,500 in the last year since a year ago. The average post reach is up 31%, which is significant. YouTube is up nearly 16,000 views. We've posted 8 VNRs, like I mentioned. City project updates, City Pride, Big Four Station, those have all been featured, as well as many other departments within the city have been featured. We also provided 2 value-added, which means no charge videos that were included in this year's, one of them was the mayor's State of the City address, and also Big Four ribbon cutting, which we produced a video about. We thought that was a real big deal. We want to share that with the community. And then the last year, again, the performance, like I just showed you, has gone up by over 6,000 views. And then we're also showing that we have a tremendous amount of audience retention, meaning people are watching the video, they're staying with it, and they really enjoyed the Big Four Station video and the Happy Holidays video that went out. And I think a few of you guys participated in that. And I warned the staff at the last Board of Public Works that we might be coming around again. I said, so make sure you have your, all your holiday festive wear available to you when we bring our camera crew around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a quick summary, and I know that was a flyby, and I didn't want to, it's getting late, I didn't want to keep you guys here too long, but I wanted to show you some tremendous increase in improvements, and especially on the website. And I think you all were right on the money when you said, let's increase the amount of content that people are looking for. They want that, and they have shown that they're very interested in getting more up-to-date and current content throughout the site. Can I answer any questions?
One quick one. Can you send me a copy
Yes.
of it for the,
Certainly will.
okay.
I'll send you an email this evening.
Okay.
Dan, what's the process if we have something we want you to put on there? Do we go through you? Do we go through Les? Do we?
Really, it's not changed. You can send it to Dan at Pro Media Group. You can send it to Rebecca at Pro Media Group. Rebecca's my lead person, and it's REBECCA at promediagroup.com. If there's something going on in your world relating to the city, I want to know about it, and we certainly want to let people know in the community. So that's the best way to get it out there. And we typically try to judge, and you can help us decide that depending on what you send. Hey, Dan, I think this is a great Facebook post, or maybe this is something that needs to be on Facebook and the website. This needs to be updated. And as you find things on the website, if you see something that you think is out of date, that you want updated, please let us know. We're trolling it all the time and trying to make sure that we're keeping it up to date for you.
I'd like to make one statement, and the council knows that the clerk's office works on your all's Facebook page, your YouTube, and your council page too. So, if there's something you need me to get to Dan, I can too.
And that's really easy to do. I mean, it's just a matter of sharing. We actually, you'll find occasionally the Tribune will put a story out, and we share that story on the Facebook page for the city. And because, it goes to a broader audience also. And we try to, they do great things, great work, and we try to make sure that we communicate that great work to our city.
Can I ask you one quick question? So, on your YouTube counts, does that also, when they click on the council's Facebook page and it goes to YouTube, it doesn't, it's just what you all do on YouTube?
Yeah, I didn't actually, I don't have a stat where I can tell you when people depart, how many go there, for instance. I couldn't tell you that. I don't have that number in front of me. I can look it up, though.
That's okay.
Try to give that to you. And again, that's another very good point. If there's organizations within the city that you're aware of, even down to neighborhood associations, which have Facebook pages or have a website, those are people that we can share links to on our website for the city. And the same thing with our Facebook page. We can like their Facebook page from the city, which is going to really open them up to your nearly 7,000 friends that are on Facebook currently. And so if you all have organizations that you're part of, that you think they could benefit from that audience, then let me know. And all we have to do is go to their page and like it, and they become a friend of the City of Jeffs, which is really great for their social media activity. On the horizon, we're going to be opening up Twitter, try to really launch into Twitter in the coming months. And the way we hope to do that is to publish to Twitter via Facebook. So as Facebook posts go out, the Twitter feeds will continue to be on the rise. And you may notice a course on Facebook occasionally. We have the CSO event. Those are always fun to watch people's comments if you follow the Facebook page at all. The reason we do that is it's kind of mandatory that we communicate to constituents when there is an event. And so I worked with the folks in the sewer department, and we figured out the best way to do that is to publish to Facebook. But it is very comical that people put when we post a CSO event is happening. So that's the only thing I would love to rid ourselves, our Facebook page of at some point. If we can find a better way to let the community know that a CSO event is occurring than our Facebook page, I would be open to any suggestions you might have on
What
that.
comments are they making?
Oh, it's not. I'm not going to say. Let's put it this way. I'll leave them up for about a day and then they're gone. So.
Well, we are required to post those, so
Correct.
if that's where the most viewers are, that's what we have to do.
And it appears that's where the most viewers are. Now, at some point, if we can get our Twitter, that's the reason I brought this up, if we can get our Twitter feed up to a relatively good number, then we could also share it on Twitter, or maybe instead of share it to Twitter. So that's something we'll look at in the future. But I just throw that, if you ever happen, if it's a good rain outside and you want to get a laugh, go to the city's Facebook page and look at the comments. It's always interesting. All right. Any other questions? Matt?
Nope. I think like I said, I wanted you to come and share because we have hundreds of thousands of people who are getting these impressions, and it's all good news about the city of Jeff. And like he said, our YouTube videos are being viewed from people outside the city limits, so they're looking. They're watching to see what we're doing, and I'm glad that we have ProMedia that's pushing that kind of good things about our city.
Well, there's just so much good going on, quite honestly, and we have found with other engagement work that we do in social media, sadly, people don't like to read as much, honestly, and they love to watch videos. And have you noticed on Facebook how Facebook has really migrated toward video? As you open your Facebook page and you start to scroll through, it used to be pictures, remember? And now videos start to play. And that's because they realize that people like videos more than they like pictures, and the more they like to read. So I think we do both, and I think that's what's good for your city, and the engagement's really high. People are really involved, and so you guys are doing good work.
Thanks, Ken.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we want to share with everybody the budget workshops and the dates, and what dates will have which departments. And we invite the public. See you guys.
Thank for coming.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all. Vicky just turned it up a minute. They don't want to stay?
What's that?
They don't want to stay?
They were falling asleep.
Now it'll start freezing because everybody's leaving.
Taking their heat with them.
No.
But we invite the public to get involved in these workshops and come sit through them. Any department that's that they've got on their radar screen, because they're your tax dollars, and we're doing the budget to protect you guys. So anyway, just food for thought, and we can post the workshop.
It is. It's
Okay.
on the website.
Good deal.
I've got the dates already posted in there, and I'll put the schedule on. Now,
I mean, I didn't know if there was any changes on the schedule.
Well, I just wanted to bring up that Tuesday, I see that y'all moved court to Tuesday. We have Connie and I have a planning and zoning meeting at 6, so just so you all know, there is a planning and zoning meeting at 6.
Yeah, so we could start that at 6:30. Usually they don't last very long, it just depends whatever's on there. Or if you guys want to go ahead and get started, it's fine with me.
And then also,
FOP has a thing.
So you want to push
I'll go
this,
to the FOP
I am
fundraiser,
too.
just so you all know.
I am
That's where
too.
my husband.
that is on Tuesday.
Mhm.
Well, what if we pushed it to Wednesday?
Oh, that's fine. I don't have to be there.
That wasn't one of the advertised dates, though.
Well, we can go ahead and advertise
Advertise
it.
You got plenty of
We've got
time.
plenty of time to advertise it. So if we want to do that, that's fine.
Make sure Scott or
Yeah.
I don't
Do we want to move it to Wednesday? Or do you guys,
For which one, you want to move to
the
Wednesday?
last one, court?
Vehicle maintenance?
No,
Court.
for Tuesday. Where are you at, Mike?
The bottom of the page.
No,
Bottom of the page, the very last one.
That actually isn't going to take a lot of time. Do we need it one night?
Couldn't we put it-
Just put him,
We can put it on Monday after.
Well,
we
let's
could
put him
try it
on Monday, the
after
29th. Try and get it done.
Make it
No.
last.
Okay. Are we,
The one that's going to take the longest on that's going to be the police, probably.
Where do you
So
want
if they
that,
won't-
what time will that be?
8.
8.
8?
He can be there before 8, I mean, in case we get done with parks, but actually I would have, because I don't know how long the animal shelter will actually take either.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, let's move him to 8 o'clock on the 29th. Okay?
so I'll go in there and
police go.
I'll redo it, and then on each date, I'll put what meetings are going
Great.
to be.
So 8 would probably be
Thanks.
good.
they have
Make
to
sure
wait, they
that-
have to wait.
We'll try and make sure we send Ken an email if he's seen this.
Or
I'll
Amy
have-
can do that. Or
Yeah,
you can do
Amy
that.
can, and I'll notify Scott tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
good deal, thank you. All right, we got Amy Deering. More appropriations.
this one's for the cameras.
Yeah, this is a request for additional appropriation out of Lowit for the body cameras, $40,286.
We have a number.
Yeah, just a second, please. Trying to clear things down. It'll be ordinance number 48.
Motion to approve 2014 OR 48 on the first reading.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Amy Deering again.
All right, final item here is a transfer request that came over from Charlie. He had some excess budget in the overtime line that is not needed, and he's needing that in the medical supply line item.
Motion to approve 2014 OR 49 on the first reading.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thank you.
All right, city attorney is gone. Do we have any department heads sign up?
None here?
Public comment?
No public comment?
No public comment. Council comment, Mr. Smith.
Nothing.
Wow.
Mr. Ed Zastwani.
Yes, just one quick thing. I know at one point we talked about maybe trying to video or record redevelopment meetings. Ms. Conlon, did you ever do anything with that? I think we were trying to get, you talked about maybe getting cameras or doing something.
You'd have to, we'll have to get a web camera if it's upstairs, but we need permission from
Yeah,
redevelopment to do that, and one of us will have to attend the meeting to do the cameras.
Well, I'm just curious from the council standpoint, is that something that you think that's important that should happen, or it's not a big deal?
If they're open to it.
It'd be nice for
Is it
the,
because they can't have the meeting here because we're already set up, is why they have it up there?
Well, and plus they have special meetings at different times. It's kind of pop up when they have different events, and so sometimes it's a Tuesday and sometimes it's a Monday, and it's just a way people can review and keep up with what's going on.
Ms. Conlon makes a good point, though. A member of her staff will have to run those cameras, so will we have to look into additional compensation for that? And then also,
Maybe redevelopment would be willing to do it themselves.
Well, they can't use no, we don't let anybody use that system.
and
I'm
then-
sorry, I mean, if I have to
No
come and run the
touching.
cameras, I will, but we've had some issues.
I'll talk among the
So.
members some more, but I think there's some value in it, but I'll see if
I think
maybe.
it's value, I just don't know if they can.
Yeah. Okay, that's all. Thanks.
Mr. Payne?
No comment.
Ms. Sellers?
No comment.
We all have to yield our time to Nathan.
Oh, so you got a list again?
Yeah, it's
I will be very quick.
half page.
Good job.
I was able to go, if I go from memory, it's going to be longer, I can tell you. Thank you. I was able to go to the IAC conference, thank you. And you missed, I think, a very good conference. It was September 9th through the 11th. Got to connect with a number of other folks from the city, or from cities across the state. Went to meetings dealing with funding. One was entitled Meetings Gone Wild, which was really interesting how sometimes public meetings can spin out of control.
Mhm.
They had some very good ideas and some tips and some suggestions on establishing rules and some things. So I'll connect with either Dennis or Lisa for ongoing on that because it made a lot of sense. Was able to participate. I didn't go up, but I did get my picture taken with Rob and Delynn. Jeffersonville received a Community Achievement Award for the Big Four Bridge. And I jokingly talked to Rob about did he get an honorable mention for the new fire museum, but he didn't get that, he said. Met with former Councilman Bill Shrewsbury. That was a nice time, and he sends his regards. So that was enough said about that. Sunday, I think everybody's aware, but we had a fantastic day for public art downtown Jeff. Started at 6 a.m., concluded about noon, and just want to express appreciation. I know the police, they help with some of the traffic. The traffic was a huge issue. If we do that again, we have to talk about that because people just, without a police car there, they just disregarded it and about had some people run over. But it was a good event, and I think downtown is buzzing with excitement from those crosswalks. So we have more things coming, so I'll keep you posted on that. And that's all I have.
Good job, Nathan.
Thanks. I had a couple things. One is we have scheduled our first meeting for our insurance committee. And what we did is through the contract negotiations with fire and police, we said we would set up an 8-person committee. And our council has to have 2 members to serve on that committee. And we have to appoint 2 members. And I have made a suggestion, William Posey, he works for drainage. And
Yeah.
Lisa made a suggestion.
Yeah, I called and talked to Stephanie Miller, because she's with the street department. She handles a lot of their concerns and their issues with the insurance, and she said she'd be happy to serve.
Okay. Unless somebody else has other appointees. And then we need 2 council people to set on the meeting, and hopefully I can tell you when that meeting is. I think it's October 1st. October 1st, 1 to 3. Does anybody, I mean, I can sit on it if need be.
What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
It's the insurance committee. We're talking about how to save money for the city.
Volunteer?
I've got the 911 ops meeting
The what?
that day at 1:30.
Looks like it'll be you and me then.
Okay, Lisa and I can do it, and then we will contact the 2 people, if everybody's good with that, on having them serve, one from drainage, one from street department. Then we have one from each fire and police, and the mayor has 2 administrative appointees, right, Les? I can't remember.
Dennis, I'll make a motion to accept your nominees for the
Okay.
I'll second.
committee.
Okay. All right. The only other thing that I wanted to say was,
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we have a second? Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The other thing that I wanted to say was, Paul Boone stopped in today to talk to me from NDOT, and they had a tolling meeting where they picked the company to do all of the tolling. And I couldn't make the meeting, and I really appreciated him coming in. Can't remember the name of the company that got both of them. I'd never heard of it before. They had 5 different companies bid on that work. It's going to be a 7-year contract. The same company is going to do both bridges. And then on, let's see, October 29th at 5 at the Sheraton, they're going to have another meeting to go over their contract, if anybody wants to go. Just keeping everybody in the loop. But I've made just about every bridge or toll meeting that I could make. I just couldn't make this one today. So anyway, that's it.
This is the email I received from Cam today. We're 8 members on the committee. Assuming this is correct, there are 2 members representing the city administration, 2 members representing the city council, 2 members from collective bargaining units, and 2 city employees representing non-collective bargaining and appointed jointly by the mayor and city council.
Okay, well, you've got our suggestion, and if we just need to let them know if you're going to, if they'll approve those. Okay. Sounds great.
That meeting